Hi, my name is Candia Barca. I'm 24 years old. I'm an English teacher, and in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing my opinion about translation and its main use in ESL teaching. Well, I do consider that translation is not a new activity, it's not a new discipline. I guess it has existed for over 100,000 years ago, and of course, thanks to the effort of many linguists and translators around the world, the different like translation techniques and strategies that have been created and also developed throughout the years have been mastered, as I said. However, I do believe that all cultures and people from the old epoch or era used to resort to translation as well, but of course in a different way, because we have to know and we shouldn't like forget that the techniques and strategies that those people used to translate books and texts from a language into another in the past were not the same compared to the ones we have now. However, they found ways, because certainly there was a need of having people access the same information. And take, for instance, the Bible. So the Bible was translated into many different languages when it was originally written in a specific one, which language I don't remember if it was Greek or Latin, but it was another one, and people from different parts of the world needed to have access to it. But as there was not like a unified language that was spoken by all people around the world, they had to find ways to translate the Bible, but into different languages. Now, talking a little bit more about my experience as an English teacher in regard to translation in classes, I guess I'm not the type of teacher who tend to overuse translation a lot in classes, because I'm more of the idea that my students need to keep or need to be in contact as much as they can with the target language, which in this case is English. However, I will not deny that there's a need, of course, especially with beginners, to make some translations, especially when teaching vocabulary, because when we teach vocabulary, it is important for our learners to know how to use the words in English. It is important for us to like have them maybe find equivalences in their mother tongue. So that's why when I teach vocabulary, I sometimes ask my learners to find like the translation or the meaning of the word, but in their own like language, because that way I ensure myself that they know exactly what they are saying and that they will know how to use the word, but in a more perhaps complex or long structure. And also, I have resorted to translation when I teach grammar, especially when I teach the differences between like two different tenses. For example, when I teach the the main differences between simple present and present perfect, as present perfect is not a like a really used or popular tense in Spanish. I need to have my learners understand what's the main difference, or what the main difference between these two tenses is, and so that they know how to use them properly. And that's why maybe I take some exercises sometimes, as I said, not all the time, but I take some like material, some paragraphs in my classes, and I have learners translate those like small or short paragraphs into their mother tongue, which in this case is Spanish, so that they know exactly how the structure works in that specific context or in that specific paragraph. And finally, giving my opinion, I think translation is important, is like a useful method or a strategy used when teaching languages. Uh, because, as I said, if it is used properly, I guess it really works with the students, especially with beginners, because it is not quite suitable for a learner just to have a direct contact with the target language. I know that it is important, because the more they are in contact with the language, the easier they're going to acquire it. However, we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that they need to know what they are like listening, what they are producing. So they need to understand the language before they use it properly. So that's why I think translation is a useful teaching method when teaching languages. However, we need to know when to use it. And that's it. So that was my opinion about translation, and I hope you like the video. I hope that you find it interesting and also useful, and maybe you can get like some ideas that I gave you of how to use translation in your classes from what I said, because this is just from my point of view and how I perceive the use of translation in classes as an English teacher. So thank you for watching, and bye.